Hey guys, this is Robbie and Vanda here, your travel experts from Google. We're going to take you guys through travel ready for the summer. So how you guys can get ready for the summer months ahead and plan accordingly as to what's ahead for the travel Q2, Q3 period.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the days are getting longer, they're getting sunnier, so we know that summer's right around the corner. Consumers are getting more and more excited about booking for their holiday plans. So today what we're going to go through is first, a bit of an insight into the typical consumer journey. Mm-hmm. We're also going to talk about how that's changed this year in light of the economic uncertainty that the UK has been going through. And then last but not least, we're going to go through how you can also be planning for your summer holiday plans. So first, let's talk about the typical consumer journey and what we can do when we plan our holiday. So normally what we see is that first things first, people try and figure out what do we actually want to do on holiday. Mm-hmm. So it's getting inspired about, should we go for a beach holiday, a city break? Should we go on a cruise or a staycation? It's getting excited about the opportunities and the potential out there. Once they figured out what kind of holiday they want to do, let's say a city break, it's then figuring out, okay, well, where should we go for this? So it's discovering the different options that will fit in with their inspirational ideas. Once they know where they want to go and what they want to do, it's then the logistics. Is this actually feasible? Does this fit in with our budget? Does it fit in with the days that we have off? Does it fit in with like our kids' school schedules? All of that stuff. And then last but not least is actually when brands come into play. It's once they figured out all of this consideration is, okay, who should we actually book with? So unless you're Disney World, which pretty much has a monopoly over both the brand and the destination, you as a brand will tend to come in at the very end of this decision process. But it is important to make sure that you are there across the whole thing. So as they're getting inspired about what type of holiday they want, where they should be going, and if it's feasible, if you as a brand are there the whole way through that, giving them ideas and giving them inspiration, you're going to be a lot better placed to make sure that the customer is able to book with you. And what we've also seen as well this year is how important video is across the entire planning journey. Like if you consider what a normal traveler will do when they're researching, when they're getting inspired, it nearly always involves video. So at the early stages when they're deciding what kind of holiday they want, whether it's a city break or a beach break, they tend to turn towards YouTube or online video to see what else people are suggesting. You know, what are the top 10 beaches that we can go visit or the top 10 best city breaks in the world? Even once they've decided where they want to go, there's a lot of research online with video as well as to what are the in-destination activities we can be booking with, or who is the best person to be booking with. So we see a lot of online activity for video when it comes to, let's say, hotel reviews or business reviews. You know, who should I trust with my hard-earned money when I'm booking my holiday? So it's just really important to stress that video is a part of the consumer journey. So just make sure it's also a part of your marketing strategy as well.
Well, this year, the travel industry has been experiencing some different behavior from our consumers. And, well, it's to be expected. I guess it's a little bit understandable given that there's been a little bit of economic uncertainty in the UK over, well, the past year or so. But we've really felt it within the travel industry from the beginning of the year, with many businesses not seeing as many holiday bookings as they would have in previous years. Now, in spite of year-over-year growth in search queries, people have been still searching. People still have been searching, but they just haven't been booking, right? People have been a little bit hesitant to make that commitment. And what we've seen is now this timing impacted across the booking stage. So at the top here, but the first blue, green, and orange lines represent the general booking journey for the travel UK traveller. Beginning in January with the Inspire, Discovery, and Explore mode. So this is your upper to mid funnel region whereby people are searching and kind of still dreaming about where to go the upcoming summer. Now, generally we would see bookings for flights straight around February time. February, March, April is when we would see the big rise in those bookings take place. And finally then, once people have confirmed where they're going, as Vanda said first, they'll decide where they're going to stay while they're there. So that happens a little bit later, April, May, June, July time. Now, as people have been a little bit less committed from the offset to their holiday plans this year, as I said, a little bit uncertain times, people have extended that kind of search period into the summer this time. So it's actually still taking place. A lot of customers are still searching, still having those where to go searches, and still looking to be inspired well into April and now May in the consumer journey. So that extended blue line represents the 2019 travel search trend. Now, the dotted lines below are what we are anticipating and kind of have started seeing within the travel sector. So flights of bookings a little bit later this year, starting more so in April toward now May. And we expect that the accommodation bookings will take place from May onwards. Now, what that means is that we are now seeing a change in the consumer behavior within the travel industry. And what that means for you guys as advertisers is that we need to be a little bit more clinical this time of year to force people to make their minds up a little bit quicker at this stage, because they have been hovering around that search query mode, that search what if mode, where to go for quite some time. And it's time to make a decision. So the message that we're trying to get across this year is to now act fast and prompt and stimulate that client to take action on your site.
No, exactly. And one thing that we should definitely flag is that people are still planning on going on holiday. The Brits love a holiday. Mm-hmm. We've seen studies from YouGov, which is a government body, from Mintel, from Kantar, and all of them point in one direction. The UK public still plan on going on holiday this year. In fact, 27.7 million UK adults are still planning on going overseas for a holiday, whereas 33 million are planning on staying at home and making a domestic holiday out of it. On top of that, because the sterling is a little bit more attractive for people coming in from overseas, government statistics are expecting a 3% increase in inbound travellers to the UK. So all in all, the travel industry is actually looking very resilient. But where this comes into play is when people are actually booking. As Robbie rightly said, a lot of people have spent the early months of this year, getting inspired, doing their research, but no one's properly booking yet. So as of February this year, 61% of holidaymakers still haven't booked their main holiday for 2019. And the main holiday for most people is that summer holiday. So this is a huge proportion of holidaymakers that are planning on going holiday, are committed on going holiday, have said in studies that, holidays are still one big area that they're not planning on reducing their spend up in light of economic uncertainty. And yet they still haven't booked yet. And because summer is really right around the corner, what we're expecting is a lot more impulse decisions as the time gets closer and closer. So with that in mind, there's a couple of things that we want to discuss with you. And this is how you can start to plan for your summer holidays. We know what consumers are doing. Now let's have a look at what you guys can be doing instead. Yeah,
so we've put together a 3-pillar strategy for you guys to follow across whatever products or product mix that you're using. We feel that these 3 pillars are paramount to success at this time, given the situation the travel industry has found, we found it to be in at the moment. As Vanda said, people have been searching for quite some time now, and with hyper competition in the travel market within the UK, that means that people have been hopping onto websites and hopping back off quite a lot this time. So that leaves engagement and re-engagement at the center of all this strategy. It's extremely important for you guys to have all of your audience lists in order, whether that's your own CRM data or your audience list of those who have visited your website before. Make sure you're re-engaging them and re-engaging them with a personalized message that makes them feel like they're your VIP customer, because of course everybody really is your VIP customer nowadays. Personalize that message, recognizing what your consumer wants, and really inspire with language that lets your consumers know that you're speaking to them as an individual and not just an audience of anyone who's just landed on your page. And you can do so with products such as responsive display ads or dynamic display ads. Stimulate. Make sure that you are top of mind, because as there is so much competition, and I know for me, I've got so many different places that I want to go. I actually need help in making my mind up at this stage. So it's important for you guys to ensure you stimulate that decision and help your consumers make their mind up a little bit quicker, because all of a sudden it's going to be too late for someone who hasn't booked. And that prompting of an action is where, if you can do that well now, that's where we'll really see people succeed in these summer months ahead.
No, exactly. And if we look at what the consumers are doing online, that should hopefully also shape what our marketing strategy should look like. So in reality, even though that we talk about, people moving through the customer journey or, people moving down the marketing funnel, in reality, a consumer journey is very messy. It's across device, it's across platform. People spend a lot of their waking hours online. And especially as it gets closer and closer to summer, a lot of those waking hours are spent dreaming or trying to figure out what looks like a good holiday for them this year. So when we look at our marketing strategy, it's also just making sure that we are targeting the right people. So as Robbie said, it's using the right audiences. So if you have CRM information, if you are, let's say, destination specific, so if you have holidays in Spain, using something like an in-market audience to target people that are in the market for what you provide as a service would be a really good one to do. At the same time, because people have got so many more touch points with your brand and your business, it also means that something like smart bidding could be really useful to make sure that you are able to adjust for those different touch points and understand who is a priority and when they are a priority as well. And then I guess on top of that is trying to figure out what message you should be giving to people.
Sure, it's important to stay personalized in how you approach your ad copy here, not just ad copy, your video content too, or however you display and interact with your consumers. We've seen so many different travel terms grow over the past year, especially whether it's adventure travel, solo travel, or multi-generational travel. There are so many different ways that people like to travel. So whether that's in search and you're using your ad customizers or your high quality ad copy with RSAs, responsive search ads, dynamic search ads, or if it's in YouTube, make sure that you're really speaking to your solo travelers with video content that really does speak to someone who is a solo traveler and not a multi-generational traveler. Again, in display, are you getting your narrative across in the images and the text that you're presenting within that image ad? Small things like this can make a huge difference in how you actually succeed at this point.
Perfect. So a couple of takeaways for you guys to look at when you're building your marketing strategy. One, your customer is key. Like, they are paramount to your marketing strategy. So make sure that you put them first, especially when it comes to looking at what lists you can use in your account. Have a look at things like CRM, affinity audiences, or in-market audiences as well.
Stand out from the crowd. Make sure your narrative is consistent across channel, across display, across video, across all products that you're using, to make sure that you are guiding and hand-holding your customer down the funnel and helping that decision be made as easy as possible.
Exactly, and stimulate action. So making sure that you have a call to action that is very, very easy for customers to book with you, whether that's through a fast mobile site or just a book now button on your YouTube campaign. Another thing that you can also consider as well is that with a lot of travelers, they very much care about experiences. So even if you sell a hotel room, make sure that you are showing what the experience would be when they are going to book through that hotel room, so you can stimulate that action to book with you and not with anyone else. So those are kind of our key takeaways for what you can do in the account. But more importantly, at an industry level, I think it's just something for us to note that this is going to be a different year to what we normally experience, just because of the economic uncertainty. And it's kind of our role to make sure that we are there to inspire customers to go and enjoy their holidays, but also reassure them. This economic uncertainty is probably going to continue for the next couple of years, regardless of what happens with Brexit. So make sure that you have a good marketing strategy in place now, and that should set you up for the next couple of years. And equally importantly, just make sure that you give people, a holiday that they remember, so they always come back and they enjoy their holidays with you.
So that's it from us today, guys. We hope you enjoyed it. We really enjoyed the session with you guys and the overview of the travel industry and where it is at the moment. We'll be sharing the deck, so please use it and enjoy, I guess. I hope the content was relevant for you and your business, and we wish you guys all the best in the coming months.
Yeah, and enjoy your summer holidays as well. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.